Why your ex wants space. The psychological science of pulling away. Breakups are never easy. One of the most confusing and painful aspects is when your ex suddenly asks for space. It's natural to feel rejected or assume the worst. But what does needing space truly mean? Why do so many people pull away after a breakup? In this video, we're going to explore the psychological science behind this dynamic and provide thoughtful advice to help you navigate it with clarity and grace. Understanding why your ex wants space can bring a sense of relief, while respecting their boundaries allows you to start your own healing process. Let's dive into what's really happening beneath the surface and how to handle it in a healthy way. When someone says they need space, it's easy to take it personally. After all, your emotions are raw, and the sudden creation of distance often feels like rejection. You may find yourself questioning your worth or obsessing over what went wrong. However, space doesn't necessarily mean abandonment or indifference. For most people, space is a reflection of emotional need. Breakups create a whirlwind of feelings: stress, sadness, anger, even relief. It's a complicated mix that puts our minds and bodies into overdrive. Taking some distance isn't about avoiding responsibility. It's about creating a buffer to process those swirling emotions without additional pressure. As painful as it can feel, pulling away allows both people to pause, breathe, and start the journey of emotional recalibration. Most importantly, it's a normal step in the breakup process backed by psychological science. Understanding the psychology of why people pull away after a breakup can shed light on their behavior. When a romantic relationship ends, the brain experiences it almost like a withdrawal. Research shows that being in a relationship activates reward systems in the brain, particularly through the release of dopamine, the feel-good chemical tied to love and attachment. When a breakup occurs, that steady dopamine supply is disrupted. This can feel like an emotional crash, and the brain panics. At the same time, cortisol, the stress hormone, rises. These biological changes create a perfect storm of emotions, ranging from heartbreak to irritability, as the brain struggles to adjust. Pulling away is the mind's method of coping. Without the relationship in place, space allows the brain to manage this overload of emotions and reestablish equilibrium. Simply put, stepping back is often less about rejecting the other person and more about self-preservation in a vulnerable state. Now that we've addressed the science, let's look more closely at your ex's perspective. When your ex asks for space, it's usually because they feel overwhelmed. Breaking up means dismantling shared routines, dreams, and attachments, all of which require emotional bandwidth to process fully. Space acts as a breather. It reduces external noise, allows time for reflection, and offers the chance for your ex to regain clarity about what they want or feel after the relationship ends. By stepping away, they're creating an environment where they can truly sit with these emotions without being reactive. It's also worth noting that their request for space isn't necessarily about what you've done wrong. In reality, breakups bring up personal feelings of vulnerability or uncertainty. Your ex might need a moment just to figure out their own path forward. While it's natural to focus on why your ex needs space, there's immense value in what this time can offer you. As painful as it feels to have someone pull away, it's a chance to pause and reflect on your own life too. Breakups have a way of shaking our sense of self. You may feel lost, questioning your identity outside of the relationship, but space allows you to begin rebuilding that identity on your own terms. It's a time for self-reflection, self-care, and rediscovery. Start by asking yourself important questions. What do you want for your future? What lessons can you learn from this relationship? How can you grow emotionally or mentally during this period? These are powerful steps toward healing. Even though you didn't choose this distance, you can use it to your advantage. Instead of focusing solely on your ex, shift your energy toward nurturing yourself. One of the biggest struggles during a breakup is respecting the need for space while dealing with the fear of loss. It's easy to interpret "I need space" as "I'm done with you forever," but this isn't always the case. Resist the urge to overanalyze. Constantly texting, checking in, or trying to force reconciliation might feel like ways to win them back, but ultimately, these actions can push them further away. Space isn't just about your ex. It's also an opportunity to avoid unhealthy cycles of attachment or dependency. It's important to understand that giving space is not the same as giving up. Rather, it's about allowing both of you the room to recover emotionally, without rushing to solve problems or bypass feelings. Respecting their boundaries during this time shows maturity and self-awareness. It ensures that if a reunion ever becomes possible, it's grounded in mutual authenticity rather than desperation or pressure. So how do you honor your ex's request for space while navigating your own emotions? Here are some thoughtful steps you can take. Accept their request calmly. Instead of reacting emotionally, acknowledge their need for distance. Let them know you respect their feelings. Focus on self-care. Use this time to recenter yourself mentally, physically, and emotionally. Invest in activities that bring you peace, from journaling to exercise to reconnecting with friends. Set boundaries for yourself. Avoid the temptation to reach out impulsively. Create a routine or accountability system, with a trusted friend, for example, to help you resist any urge to break the space. Process your emotions thoughtfully. Whether through therapy, meditation, or simply talking to a loved one, allow yourself to grieve the relationship and heal at your own pace. Handling space takes patience, but the more you focus on your own growth and health, the better equipped you'll be to move forward. During this challenging time, it's important to reframe how you think about the breakup. Rather than seeing it as a definitive ending, consider it a turning point, a chance to grow into the next version of yourself. The distance might be temporary, or it might become permanent. Either way, it's a moment to reflect on who you are and what you want to create in your life moving forward. Healing doesn't have to mean waiting for your ex. It can be about cultivating happiness and contentment within yourself. Breakups challenge us to evolve, often in ways we don't expect. By working through the discomfort and pain of space, you are building strength, emotional intelligence, and resilience. Take comfort in knowing that space has purpose, whether it leads to reconciliation or closure. There's no right way to approach a breakup, but giving yourself and your ex time to process can be a gift for both of you. Be patient with them and with yourself. Healing is not linear, and everyone's timeline is different. Focus on what's within your control, how you choose to respond. This is a unique opportunity to foster self-discovery and personal empowerment. Breakups are painful, but understanding the psychological science behind pulling away can provide clarity and hope. When your ex asks for space, remember that it's not necessarily about rejection, it's about creating the time and distance needed for growth and healing. Use this time to nurture yourself, respect boundaries, and redefine your breakup narrative as the start of a new chapter. Remember, healing isn't about waiting for someone else to change. It's about taking the first steps toward becoming the best version of you. Don't leave without subscribing, liking, and sharing your thoughts in the comments.